Hey everyone, Tankenstein here. In this video, I've got your gameplay for the MiG-23BN. That's right. I bet you didn't think that this plane would be in there. I bet you didn't even know that this existed. This is a MiG-23 that is pretty much a ground strike variant of the MiG-23. So the MiG-27 was developed off of the MiG-23, but this is itself the MiG-23, but just as a strike aircraft. So it's a bit weird, and I'll show you why right now. So as you can see, it doesn't have any air-to-air missiles. It's just ground strike only. And of course, you can equip two 23mm cannons. That's it. You know, aside from its regular 23mm cannon, it literally only has ground strike capability, which is just amazing to me. So that said, let's see what we could do in this. I want to see if this is any good. I'll be playing a match in air RB and ground RB, and bear in mind, this is the dev server, so things are always subject to change, like weapons, stats, and so forth. That said, let's get into it. So the more I test this aircraft out, the more I realize it's just an abomination. Like, there's no reason for this to exist. It has a, and of course, stats are subject to change in the dev server, but as of right now, it's got a lesser rate of climb than other MiG-29 or MiG-23s. It's got no countermeasures, it's got no missiles, it's got no ballistics computer. It does have speed, of course, which is nice, but that's it. I mean, it's got a decent enough ground attack armament, but like, why would you get this at all? Like, what's the point of this plane? At least in War Thunder. Maybe in real life, and I'm not sure. Of course, there's plenty of things that could influence whether or not a plane is a good idea in real life. I understand that. But this plane in War Thunder makes very little sense, at least upon first few uses. Now, I've got this equipped right now, so I've got the standard, what is it, like 23mm cannon, I think, is standard on this. But I also have the twin cannons on the side here, and also incendiary ordnance, as well as some standard HE ordnance. So this is pretty loaded for bear. I mean, don't get me wrong. This is enough to destroy a base. And at 9.7 BR, I mean, you can't really get too much better, I guess, than this when it comes to just like striking bases in air RB. And bear in mind, I'm going to be playing some ground RB as well, but it just, I don't know. There's something about this. It just doesn't feel right, So I got this Sukhoi 25 there. Hoping he's not going to turn in on me, because if he does, I'm screwed. And he will. So I'm screwed. Not really. I'm not screwed. But this is kind of the big problem it has, right? Like, you have to give up, like, this immensely decent, at very least, fighter, just so that you can go for ground targets, which just doesn't feel right. Like, I feel like I should have gone for that Su-25 as it passed me. And I should have, genuinely, I should have. But the problem is, man, I love napalm in the morning. The smell of it. But the thing is, of course, is like, I've got, what, 2,000 kilograms of bombs on this thing? Like, what am I going to do? Am I just going to swing that around like it's no big deal? No, that's ridiculous. And so this vehicle just seems very antithetical. Like, I can understand, to a point at least, the MiG-27. That was built from the MiG-23 to be a purpose-built ground attack aircraft. It makes some level of sense. But this aircraft, I'm not really so sure. Okay, I'm going to get that. Got a crit at least. But the good thing is that at least I can kind of still fly away and do whatever oh, wow, I really messed him up. Hopefully they don't steal my kill. Okay, it was assist. Okay, I guess, you know what, there was like a nothing match right there. Let's just get into one more air RB match. I'm going to do some ground RB. So let me clear something up about, what I just said about this plane in the last match. That it's useless or that it doesn't have a point. I mean, it does have a point. Don't get me wrong. It does and will have a point in War Thunder. Now, I don't really know to what extent it will be liked by many people. But, it does have guided ammunition, or guided ordnance, if I'm not mistaken. It's got, a decent enough selection of ordnance where it should be somewhat effective in the ground attack role. Not going to dispute that. It's just kind of a weird thing, you know? It's just like, it's like, I don't know, like a jerry-rigged example of like a MiG-21 or 23 that they just kind of said, you know what? Go put all this ground ordnance on it and take away its ability to defend itself. It's just like such a weird thing that I just don't really quite understand. Maybe it's just like the reasoning behind it on this plane where I'm just confused as to why it exists. You know, in real life, genuinely, like, why does this exist? You know, I get it. You know, they probably just made this, and you know, I'm not very knowledgeable when it comes to Russian aircraft. Maybe they just made this as an interim before they could have the whatchamacallits working, the MiG-27s or the Su-25s or things of that nature. But I don't know. It just something about this where it just feels so useless or like needless or rather not necessary. You know, like give me some missiles. You know, I just don't understand. Why would this not have any missiles at all? And I love cannons in this game, like over missiles for the most part. I would rather, but it just feels weird. It's a very weird feeling plane. Like the MiG-27, you go into that with the expectation that you have yourself a strike fighter. That was ugly. Ugly times two. Like, even though the MiG-27 is essentially a modified MiG-23, but it just, I don't know, it just feels weird. It just feels really weird. I'm gonna hit him this time, right? Yeah, boy! It's just a really weird feeling aircraft. Man, thank God for these bots, huh? Otherwise there'd be nothing to do in Air RB. In the dev server. There's, like, where is everybody? I guess, like, it's fun, but ultimately, you know, and again, a lot of these things, they can change. You know, not everything in the dev server is permanent, but it just, when it comes to this, like, are you sure it didn't have any missiles? It just feels like it should have missiles. It's just a really weird thing that this just doesn't have missiles. I don't know. It's just such a weird thing. I just can't wrap my head around it. Why would this not have missiles? Even the MiG-21S has missiles. MiG-19s have missiles. How would this not have any capability to carry missiles? Again, you know, I mean, we're in the dev server. Things can change, but it's just, damn. It's just so weird. Anyways, I'm going to probably just crash into the ground because this is ultimately all that this dev server gameplay is going to end up being. Because they are not going to, like, what? I have one. Actually, no, this guy already gave up. Then we have these guys. So, yeah, there's not really much else here to do. So once I just waste my last few shots of ammunition on this guy, I'll probably just crash or something. Ooh, you know what, though? If I do crash, then I might not be able to get into it. You know what? I'm just going to crash. I really don't care. You know, this plane is just, it's not bad, but don't expect much in Air RB with it. You know, at this BR, you really almost need missiles. And for this plane, of which really, I mean, the MiG-23 thrives off of missiles. It's not at all a gunfighter. For them, like, it's just, I don't know. Maybe you can get a quick strike in at the beginning of a match and then come back. I'm just not really sure what the point of that might be in ground in Air RB. But let's get into a ground RB match, and that'll probably be the last match with this, and see what we can do. So I decided to spawn into this with my, what was that, 80 S-23. I think they're S-23K. It's the larger of the rocket pod rockets. But let's see what we could do here. Now, it does at very least, have a... Ooh, may I get a kill here? I got a kill! Woo! At least has a ballistics computer for the rocket pod. So there's that, or for the rockets, rather. So there's something there. Something good to be said about this aircraft. Now, hopefully no one is in the mood to try to kill me. Okay, that's that. So, let's get back to the show here. Okay, we have an enemy here. Looks like World War II vehicle. Of course, why not? And he is damaged. Not too bad. Uh-oh. Oh, that's really bad. That's really, really bad. I do not want an SPAA flying at me like, or shooting at me like that. So, let's turn back around. I've wasted about, what, 1/5 or so, or 1/6? 1/6 and a half, I guess? I really don't know. I used up a fair amount. I got an enemy near me. Yep, there we go. But I'm going to go around here. Turn back around. Scope. Okay, I see a target on the ground here. It's probably a bot. Yeah, it looks like a bot. Well, that's that. So I guess I was destroyed by a missile because, of course, that's going to happen. I mean, there's literally no way I can actually defend myself from missiles when using that thing because it just doesn't have the capability of doing so. It's just so stupid. I mean, like, I get the point of the MiG-23BN, or BN. I get it, trust me. But it just feels kind of ridiculous in a way, you know? Like, it makes sense as an intermediary strike aircraft for now because the U.S. or the German air tech tree doesn't really have one, but it just doesn't feel good at its job, or it just doesn't feel amazing rather at its job. Like, it just doesn't feel like it should be a ground attack aircraft. I don't know. Maybe I'm just looking a little bit too into it. But anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I am always interested to hear. Please, of course, like, comment, subscribe. You guys know the dealio. But without further ado, I will see you all on the other side. Take care, everyone, and I don't know why there's a MiG-23BN.